Welcome back to Fact Snack. I am Mr. Buster. Our topic is way too interesting today, so stay tuned.
Here's the contradiction nobody wants to talk about. International law talks endlessly about human rights, self-determination, and freedom from occupation. The United Nations was literally created after World War II to prevent powerful states from simply taking land by force. But what happens when a foreign power occupies territory for decades, controls the borders, the resources, the airspace, the economy? The international system does nothing? That's the real question. Because on paper, international law supports the right of peoples to self-determination. Anti-colonial movements across Africa, Asia, and the Middle East were often defended using that exact principle. But in reality, UN resolutions get ignored. International courts issue statements. World leaders say they are concerned. And meanwhile, the occupation continues. So people start asking, if international institutions cannot actually end occupation, then what options are left for occupied peoples? And this is where the debate becomes uncomfortable. The same global powers that failed to stop invasions or occupations often demand that resistance movements follow rules written by institutions that appear politically paralyzed. 2 million people living under occupation? That feels deeply unequal. Because when diplomacy fails for decades, when sanctions never come, when international law is selectively enforced, resistance stops looking like a theory and starts looking like the only remaining language the occupier understands. Now, obviously, international humanitarian law still says civilians must be protected. But history shows something important. Most independence movements in history were not handed freedom voluntarily by occupying powers. From anti-colonial struggles to national liberation movements, pressure, political, economic, and sometimes armed, played a major role. And that's why supporters of resistance movements argue this. If the world recognizes a people's right to freedom, but refuses to enforce it, then lectures about acceptable resistance begin to sound hollow. Because a law that cannot stop occupation, but only restrict the occupied, risks losing moral legitimacy in the eyes of those living under it.